Powerful Flex integration. What does that mean? Facebook applications. Flex is really Flash, okay? That's all it is. Flex is Adobe's way of saying, we're going to connect Flash to a database. That's all it is we're going to connect Flash to a database. We're going to pull a list of albums out and display it in a cool Flash way. We're going to pull all of your users in your organization and display them in really cool business card fashion with their photos and their names, and we're going to display animated things so that when you roll over their image, it shines. You know, you would need Flash to do that, but you also want to pull that from a database. You want to do things like, you want to create a dynamic map that will pull visitor information from the user and chart it on the globe so that the users can dynamically say where they visited on Earth for their Facebook application that they want to share with their friends.
That's cool.
That's pretty easy to do. I mean, it's not easy to do, but it's pretty much cut and dry. That's a Flex application. You would design a front end, and you would use that front end to talk to a ColdFusion that would store all of that information that the people were entering, and then you have basically a back end for a Facebook application. If we wanted to do Facebook applications, they can be powered by ColdFusion. I mean, ColdFusion is going to be the engine that powers dynamic Facebook applications. .NET integration. It's Microsoft. That's all you need to know. That's it. It just means that we can talk to Microsoft products. Just because they're using it doesn't mean that we can't talk to it. That's all it means. All right? And there's SMS event gateways built right in. What does that mean? Short messaging server gateways are built right into ColdFusion. Okay? Now, the first thing you're going to think to yourself is, that's really cool. That means ColdFusion can send text messages. Yeah, that's really cool. But think deeper. ColdFusion, remember the gear. ColdFusion can do things. All right? So ColdFusion can create applications using SMS. All right? A great application that comes right out of the box with ColdFusion as a demo application is a library application that allows you to search for books using text messaging. All right?
SMS is text messaging.
Right. SMS is text messaging. So not a web browser, not a mobile web application using text messaging. Send 1 to 12345 to search by author. Send type 2 to search by title. Type 3 to search by subject. When you type 3, the SMS gateway says, okay, send me your subject. You type cycling. It goes off and searches for cycling and then texts you back a list of books that are available for you to check.
Jeff, could a client use this, like, if they had a golf course, to search for a tee time on a certain day? Could that be, is that an application that
Absolutely. I mean,
As
back
long as
and
they've
forth.
got the information
Right. Right.
available.
I mean, these aren't just,
Right.
right, this isn't just sending text messages.
Right.
This is actually receiving text messages, interacting with a database based on what the text message is, selecting information, and then sending it back to the user based on what their decision is.
So say like one of the resorts we represent, if they had the data filled in about availability of when they had, courses to be booked or rooms to be booked, and they fed that in, then this could interact with
You
it.
want to simplify these things as much as possible. You want to try, remember you're talking about text messaging, so you don't have a lot lot of information that you can return back. But there are things like reservation systems that can be built on this type of technology, where you could, type type what day you want and get a list back of open, how many openings there are. You can
Or
do
specials.
specials,
Right.
right?
Things that are,
Specials.
so not their entire reservation system.
Right, but just,
Right, exactly. One of the projects that a friend of mine is working on is a restaurant finder based on text that uses your geolocation. Type 1 for Italian, or you type Italian, text Italian to 1234, and get back a list of Italian restaurants near you based on your geolocation.
Cool.
Now the thing is that, like what you were asking about reservation systems, you could access an entire reservation system through text messaging. but that's not gonna be a good user experience.
Right.
So, just because you can do something,
Right.
doesn't mean you
want to
should.
do it.
Right,
Okay.
but there are simple,
Okay.
but there are simple, effective
Right.
applications for text messaging that you can use that go beyond sending a text to a group of people. That's the important thing, is that the word here, the operative word is gateway. The operative word means that you can take commands from a text message and then do something based on those commands.
It's more than just like.
It's more than just
It's more than when you get a
broadcasting.
text message that says, like one of our clients, we were in a meeting one day and the client got a text message that said, Myrtle Beach National Golf Special, $45 this afternoon. I'm just making up the exact
Right.
wording, but you know, that kind of thing. But you can do more than that. You can actually interact with the client.
Right, now imagine what you can, one of the simplest things you can do is create a subscription to time-based text messaging. In other words, type, send help, send subscribe. You've seen these things where you can send commands to a text message and it'll send you back something. Subscribe to 1234 to receive updates on text messaging. What you're doing is when the command subscribe is done, capture that phone number, stick it in the database, and add that as a subscribed user. When the user wants to cancel, they text cancel to the same number, and it removes them from the list. You're building interactions. You're not just sending out text messages, but you're building functional applications that do things based on the text messages that they're getting. That's really important. That's a really important differentiation, and that's why the term gateway is so important. It's a gateway to interactions between the users. And you can have rich,
Good question. It's not for the text, but for other uses. I was just thinking. You said something about reservation systems you can tap into. What is that big reservation system that they use around here? That
Tea Time Network.
yeah, something like that. Okay, Cold Fusion could tap into.
right.
Absolutely.
So there would be no reason why, if somebody is dealing with that system, that a person couldn't make online reservations through using Cold Fusion to talk to
As long as we
it.
can get access to the data.
Right. See, there's a real important piece of this puzzle that everybody just sort of needs to have a general understanding of, and that's the term API. It's a tough term to wrap your head around, but it's a term that they're going to throw around a lot. What is the reservation system? The one that
Guest desk.
No, the
we're talking,
one we were talking about.
Tea Time
Property
Network.
Plus.
Oh.
Property Plus is a condo management software. All right, they allow condominium management. So what they do is they allow you to make reservations for these condominiums, and they have hundreds of people up and down the beach that use this software. All right, but the requirement is that you have to go to their propertyplus.com to make a reservation. All right, basically that's, in a nutshell, that's what you have to do. If you want to integrate this into your website, what you really are doing is sending people to propertyplus.com, and it's a pretty stinky looking website. All right, it isn't designed very well, and the user experience isn't that great of a user experience. But Property Plus has created an application programming interface to their Property Plus software. They have no interest in creating 100 different looks for 100 different clients. They have no interest in doing that. Their interest is in maintaining their system. But they make their system open through an application programming interface. They create an interface that allows application developers like ourselves to hit that data, to basically interact with that data without going through the Property Plus website.
So if Jamie's hotel or Jamie's condo, I go in to book it, it would look like Jamie. It
Right.
would look like Property.
Right. So when Mar Vista Grand
Right.
wants to take their Property Plus software and make it look like the Mar Vista Grand website,
Right.
and they want to rejigger the
Right.
interface a little bit, they want to make it a little nicer looking, and they want to style it a little bit better so it looks like the Mar Vista
They
website,
can do that.
we use the application programming interface to connect to it and read and write and read and write.
But it's the same data. You can't really manipulate the data.
No,
Right.
no.
It's the
No,
same
but-
data. So